hello, and welcome to Dysfunctional Dialogue. I am your host, John McParland, and with me is my very, very special guest, my daughter, my firstborn, Melissa. Hi, Melissa.
Everyone's favorite guest has
Everyone's favorite,
returned
everyone's favorite guest in that room that you're in right now.
in this very empty room that I'm in right now. All the little dust mites.
But it's a full
Favorite
consent.
guest.
It's a full consensus, though.
Yes, I asked the flies that are
Yeah.
inevitably here somewhere.
Flies. Oh, lovely. Oh, great. What kind of squalor are you living in?
In New York, it's
Oh, in New York.
awful.
It's par for the course then, right?
Live from New York.
It's the atmosphere, the ambiance,
It's the
really.
ambiance.
You pay extra for
Everyone
that.
says,
Yeah,
everyone says move to New York.
that's why the rent is so high, right? For
Oh
that
God.
additional ambiance that you get.
I have had multiple people come to me and say, "Oh, New York. Wow, the big city. What's it like?" It's awful. Don't move here
It's
ever.
not that, but that's a blanket
No,
statement.
of
That's
course.
not true.
I'm
Just
allowed to say
like
it because I live here.
yeah,
I
but
love it, but it's awful.
yeah, well, that's exactly right. I mean, there's a lot to love, and there's some other stuff that's maybe
Totally.
not so much, right?
Totally, totally.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
also we grew up in northern New Jersey. The city has never been like wow to me.
Right, right,
There's
right, right.
people that come here and I like when you take your brain out of yourself
Yeah,
and you look at Manhattan. I remember one time with Alex,
yeah.
um, sitting
If I may,
on
Alex
my brother
is
Alex,
right, 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 right.
the
Or
second
my
born,
the second born. Yes.
the second born.
Yeah.
Um, he's live from Seattle now, but one
Right.
time when he was visiting me in when I lived in Brooklyn, I remember the two of us sitting there looking at the Manhattan skyline. And I said that. I said, oh, let's take our head because both of us, he's lived in the city.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He shares in my sentiment of it is what it is. It's
Right.
not that
Uh-huh.
great because we grew up here. But
Mhm.
in that moment, he was, I think, what did he say? It was right at twilight. The sun was just going down and all the lights were turning on in Manhattan. And he was like, that's 6 million people that we're looking at right now. And the
Yeah.
minute he said that, like all of a sudden I felt that flutter in my heart where I was like, oh, this is what people must think when they're landing in New York City for the first time. Meanwhile, I don't know if you know this story actually. This shows how unimpressed I was.
Okay.
I am with New York. I had remembered. I think it was sometime early in college, and I was visiting. I went up to school in Boston, so I was visiting you guys back in New Jersey, and I just went into the city for I think it was like a weekend or not a weekend. Like I went for a day trip, and it was just me, and I just walked around Manhattan. It was actually really wonderful, but I was in Midtown out like 34th or something like that, and I really had to pee. And I ran into this random Starbucks and used their bathroom. They didn't make me pay for anything, actually. That's surprising. But I went in, used the bathroom, and then it was, attached to another building. So it wasn't just like you walk into the Starbucks one way and you can walk out the same way. There was clearly an office building in the other direction. So I walked out that way.
Right.
And I walk out and I'm walking toward the exit of the office building, and there's a whole mess of people standing right there, all taking photos. I was like, what the fuck? What's going on here? I turn around, it's the big Empire State mural at the entrance of the Empire State Building. I was in the Empire State Building for the
Right.
first time ever, and I peed in it, and I had no idea. And I went, oh, okay. And then I left. I just walked right out.
Yeah. Yeah. So for a lot of people, or for me anyway, so New York City looks beautiful from afar, as a
From
lot of
afar.
things do, right?
Oh, yeah.
Skylines, mountain ranges and stuff like that. But then
Beautiful.
once you're walking around in certain areas, I mean, you turn a corner and you get a waft of
Oh,
bodily waste,
You
you
don't have to
know,
turn a
that
corner. You just
no,
walk
you don't have to
outside.
turn a corner. You don't have to turn a
I
corner.
I once, mom was on the phone with me, and it was this past summer, and I was going on a walk, which was already a big mistake in New York. That alone,
Nah, come on.
it had. I kid there, but it had just rained. It was about 90 degrees outside, and it was trash day. Which,
Oh
for people who don't
no.
know,
Yeah,
in New York City,
yeah.
I don't know who. This is just like it's a logistical nightmare when it comes to trash day. They pile up everyone's crap outside on the streets. So I'm walking on the phone with mom, and it smells like hot, wet garbage to the point where I was like, Mom,
Oh,
I just need to, can you just tell me a story or something? I just need to breathe out of my mouth until I can get back to my apartment.
oh
So I
man.
was just silent, just like, ah, like the whole time on the phone with her.
So the very rain that may have washed away that urine smell is now making the garbage that much more funky.
Exactly.
There's
Exactly.
no win at all. All right,
Oh,
so
God.
I'm sure. So I had asked Melissa, maybe you might want to, share a story, something funny, something
Yeah.
interesting, really whatever. I'm gonna guess that the garbage stank
It
story
was,
wasn't the one that you were thinking about
no.
sharing here. Maybe some non-refuse related stories. So, what, Melissa, have you brought to the show today to share with me and all of one other person that might be watching?
This is all the audience that matters,
It is true.
honestly.
It is true. But who knows, right? You might get some other people that you even work with or something like that might see this. So
Oh dear God. Okay, I
yeah,
have one. I
yeah,
have one
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
I think that the people that I work with in particular would appreciate this story.
Right, right, right.
And this is one that I have not told you guys. And the
Oh,
reason I haven't told
exciting!
you guys is because I faced, well, actually, no, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. But so you're aware, but maybe others are not, that I was in college. It was my 19th birthday that I was almost arrested
Yeah,
on that day for trespassing. I was not doing anything wrong. I was standing on grass. It was a ridiculous story. But what you don't know is a week later, I was also almost stopped by the cops.
I
Just,
love the fact that because you were so open and honest, and your friends were shocking that the next day
I
that you
called you guys
called us up,
immediately.
and like and of course
Hilarious.
your mom and I just started laughing.
I did nothing wrong. If I did something wrong and I had something to feel guilty about,
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah,
yes, I
yeah.
would have felt shame. But I felt no shame. I stood on grass. It just happened to be a very wealthy country club's grass that I was standing on
Right.
late at night as well,
Yeah, and
which
I
is
could, I could,
illegal.
I could, I could, I could tell you stories that would be, on a golf course, and way worse than just standing on the grass. In
That's
fact,
what
in
I'm
fact, one of my
saying.
favorite stories is that, but I might save that for another time because I want to hear your story on
Yes.
this topic because it has been kept from me
Yes.
all
Well,
these
I didn't
years.
intentionally keep it from you. I did not it was not intentional. It was just the problem was it was just exactly 1 week,
Yeah.
7 days after this had already happened. And I was like, you know what? I don't want you guys to be worried
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
me.
Like, what's going to happen this week now?
Exactly, exactly. And obviously nothing actually really happened. And again,
Well, I don't know. I'll be the judge of that.
you'll be the judge of that. You'll be the judge of that. But so it was a week later, and the college I went to had this thing every spring called Spring Concert, where they would bring, just some musical artist on campus. Um, or I think they were doing it at the Boston House of Blues for a while too. But this was on campus. This was my freshman year of college. This was 1 week after my 19th birthday, and it was spring concert day, and it was a big drinking day on campus too. It was one of those like day day ragers or darties where you wake up and start drinking immediately, which is, I legitimately cannot comprehend how that.
We didn't have a name for that like Darty. We just
That
called
was
it
Tuesday.
exactly. We just called it any other day.
Exactly. We had specific days, which I like can't fathom doing that now. I
Of course.
simply
Oh,
can't fathom
yeah.
it.
Right,
I am, as we speak, I'm a little hungover. I
Yeah, and you
hung out
probably
in
had like a half a
Hamptons.
drink last night or something, right?
Nothing. I drank nothing, and I'm like,
Even
I
better.
will. Yeah. So I'm hungover in a state of sobriety too.
Right.
But that was not the case when I was 19,
Sure.
as is the case for most 19-year-olds as well. It was spring concert day, and I had been drinking for the majority of the day. I probably, I was not a wake up, get drunk kind of person. I was like, let's get some
I'm
food in
sure.
us,
Right.
and then let's get some more food in
Yeah,
us.
and
And then
fluids.
at
Yeah.
like 1 o'clock,
Yeah.
we can drink.
Yeah.
Because even then I was responsible. I heard
Right,
your
but it was
horror
college. You're
stories.
waking up at noon anyway, probably, right?
I can't
So what
even
are you
say
saying? You had an hour of prep time.
I
That's what I
had an
just heard.
hour, an hour of
You
daylight
woke
too,
up,
bro.
you had
In
some
Boston,
brunch. Woke up, had some
yeah,
brunch. You swigged a water, and you're
mimosa.
like, okay, time to go.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly. Let's be honest. Yeah, I was waking up at 10:30. That's why I wasn't waking up at 7 a.m. to drink, is because I was
that's
lazy.
right. You're too
There it
lazy to
is.
drink.
Too
That's,
lazy to get
you
drunk
know,
at
I mean,
7 in the morning.
if more alcoholics had just been a little more lazy
A little more
about their
lazy.
drinking, they might not have been in this situation now.
But legitimately.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I had been drinking for the majority of the day, and I was hanging out in my friend's dorm, and it was on the first floor of the same dorm building that I was in. And it was a lot of people. When I say a lot of people, we're talking maybe like 10 or 11. Like for a dorm room, that's a lot
That's a
of
lot.
people.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, but it certainly wasn't like a 60-person rager or anything like that. But we were loud, we were rowdy, and we were playing beer pong, which is one of my all-time favorite games. Not drunk too. It was shaped like
Okay.
an L. So the entrance was like over here, right? And you walked in, and there's like, the kind of the hallway, and then the room where everyone was hanging out in. Windows were open because there was, 10 people in a small, compact space. What we failed to assess in our minds was the actual adult on the premises, the dorm manager or whatever, not the RA, like the dorm manager, like the adult who has like a family and like kids,
Right.
was living directly beneath,
Oh,
like in the basement
that's probably
area.
something good to account for.
We were stupid.
Yeah,
That,
kids are stupid.
in
That's
my
like
defense.
it's no, it's a running theme throughout these
Kids are
conversations that I'm finding.
stupid.
Kids are. I should just rename it that actually because kids are
Right?
stupid.
Kids are so
Yeah,
stupid, and I
yeah.
was
I mean,
one
I
of
was one of them.
them.
I was one of them.
Yeah, guilty as
I
charged.
still might be in a lot of ways actually.
I'm still stupid.
Yeah.
That hasn't. I'm just not a kid anymore. I have
Well,
bills and shit.
to me you are.
Well,
Anyway,
yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
I'll be 80 years old, and I'm still a kid to you. So
Oh, yeah.
that's, yeah. Um, don't say it. Whatever you're
Yeah.
about to
Just go
say.
ahead. Just go ahead.
But basically, so we were being loud, and the dorm manager was right there. So they come in with a bunch of cops, like,
Oh,
like
cops.
real cops. And
Yeah.
so I'm already having flashbacks, and I'm also drunk now. I'm underage and I'm drunk, and I'm standing there in the corner of the L. And I'm just standing there as these police officers come in, and I'm like, oh my God, deja vu to a week ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Week.
why does this shit keep happening to me? And now I'm actually doing something that's super not allowed. I'm underage drinking. Well, I guess trespassing is also whatever. But I'm standing there, and the cops walk in, and they're like, what you guys doing? Having a little party? And whoever was the owner of the dorm was like, no, officer, we're not having a party, we're all just hanging out. And they see the red Solo cups everywhere, and the alcohol everywhere. And they're now standing kind of in front of me, but they're facing the the open part of the dorm area. And they leave the door open. And one of the cops, I'm not kidding you, this is a true story. One of the cops looks at me and just goes like this, like, get out of here. And I went,
Because
and I just booked it.
he took one look at you and was like, "There's no way this kid's doing bad."
Yeah, I was scared, and I was like terrified, and he sensed it. He
Yeah,
sensed it, and he just went because he didn't give a shit.
of
It
course
was it,
not.
no, no one was hurt. We were
No. Hey,
literally
you walk into a college party, people are having fun. It's a contained
exactly.
environment. It's the best possible situation.
It literally
Unlike
so ideal.
you guys are not out driving. You're not out, wreaking havoc. Of which I could tell you tons of stories about how stupid we were back in
Oh
the day.
yeah,
You're in a dorm and you're contained. This is a huge win. This is
huge
yay.
win,
Good job,
huge
guys. Keep up
win.
the good work. Here, let's do shots together. I'd
We
be
should
like,
got
if
a
I was the
medal.
cop.
Yeah, oh, that'd been so cool. That would have been so cool. But I mean, this cop was really cool. He was just like, get out because all the other cops were facing the other way. So when he
Yeah,
looked at me, he just went like, he was like, oh. He didn't go that like that with his hands, but he literally went like this.
yeah.
And I stared at him, and he was like, and I just went,
Go, you fool.
and I booked it. I ran down the hall, and I went into my dorm room, and I was panicking because I was like, "Oh
Really?
my God." Well, yeah, because I just ran from the cops.
Yeah, but the cop told you to go.
Yeah, but not the other cops. The other he was clear he was clearly because everyone else in
Well,
that dorm got written up
how were you able even to leave without the other cop just because they were all facing away from the
because
door
it
and he
was
was
an
by the
L
door?
shaped. Yeah,
It
because
was
it was
L
L
shaped.
shaped. Because it was L
Oh
shaped and they
man.
had walked in and I just slunk out and I booked it. I sprinted, but then it gets crazier. I booked it and I go into my dorm room and I'm like, oh my God, twice in 1 week I ran from the police. This is not me. How does this keep happening? And I get a knock at the door. And I was like, and I literally curl up into a ball and I'm like, oh my God, this is it. I'm going to go to prison for life. My future's over. And I just hear, hey, Melissa. And it was my friend Rocky. And they were
Oh,
on the other side of the door. And they were like, hey, you okay? Are you in there? And I opened the door and I was like crying to Rocky.
really?
And they were like, what's what's wrong? Because they weren't in so they have no
Oh, they
idea what
weren't even
happened.
there. Okay.
They weren't even there. Yeah, yeah. Everyone in that room got written up. All of them. They all had
Really?
to.
Oh my
Yeah,
God! And you got away.
I got
It's
away.
actually kind of karma coming back, and because like the group of friends that you were with, probably some of them were in that room
Who
back
did get away?
the week before.
Got
You know,
away.
that and some of them had pointed at you as being the one who was the
Yeah.
reason why you were there.
It was like, oh, it's Melissa's birthday. Melissa
Yeah,
McParland.
so the cops turned to you to have a conversation with
they
you.
they were on their loudspeakers trying to find me. I didn't hear this because I was walking down the street at this point. And but apparently they were like, Melissa McParland, we know you're hiding,
Are you
which is
serious?
horrifying.
Wow,
Yes.
man, I have to say that might
I'm
be
like, can you
my
guys?
last night of being friends with those people. That's
Oh,
rough.
yeah. But then they were in that. Then they all got written up.
Yeah, no,
So
but that's what
I
happens. So
came back
and
and I was
they
like,
were
yeah,
nervous. They didn't know what they were saying. They just happened to
kids are
mention it was your
stupid.
birthday.
Yeah,
Right.
I
It
don't.
was
I
just
don't. I
kids are
didn't hold it
stupid.
against them. Yeah,
Kids are
I didn't
stupid.
hold it against
No,
them
of
one bit.
course not. No, no.
But that was twice in 1 week that I ran from the police, and I have never had another encounter with the police since.
Have I ever told you any of my police encounter stories?
You told me they're running like gazelles, but
No, that was
that's the
security.
campus police. Yeah,
That's not that
that doesn't count.
that's
And you guys also weren't doing anything bad that I know of. I don't know if you left pieces of that story out
so
intentionally.
there was I was in high school and we were on
Oh
the
God, high
there
school.
was an arcade that was right up on Route 4 from where I lived. Me and a few friends, whatever, we climbed up like a pipe outside or something, and we were hanging out on the roof. We're just kind of hanging out there. We're
Oh, that's nothing.
I don't know, but we're probably drinking or something. I don't know, whatever the case. And all of a sudden, I don't know how. Maybe we saw some lights flashing or something like that, but we knew the cops were called, and we had to get the hell out of there.
Oh my
So we
God.
just scattered. We all went down the roof. We had different ways to go down the roof, and we all
Oh
got
my
down, and we all
God.
just scattered. I never told you the story.
No.
We all just scattered in different directions, and look, this was my neighborhood. There's no way the cops are catching me.
Oh
Not
no.
no seriously,
You know every
not
nook and cranny.
exactly. And because we always played manhunt and everything, although we were all over that neighborhood, there's no
Yeah.
way a cop was going to catch me. So I come down and I go around the building because I'm trying to skirt away, right? I come around the building. A second I turn the corner, right into this massive cop's chest.
Oh my
He literally
God.
just had to do this.
Oh my God. Did he do that?
Yeah, he's
Oh, he
like, I
did.
got
Okay. I
you're
was
not
hoping
going.
it was going to be, he went, get out of here. Like,
He
with my cop.
he brought me to the he put me in the back of the cop car.
Oh my
Yeah, yeah.
God.
I don't think he didn't handcuff me, but
Okay,
he
good.
put me in the back of the cop car, and they were chasing around. I don't think any of my friends got busted, and thankfully the arcade owner saw it was me, and she liked me,
Oh, good,
and she said,
good.
"It's like no, that one's all right, whatever." But while I was in there, over you hear like all the different like police stuff coming over to the CB radio and stuff
Oh
like that,
no.
and all of a sudden I hear John over the police scanner. And to this day, I have no idea what the hell that was.
Oh my
It
God.
bugged me out. To this day, I get a little bugged out. I think,
Oh my
wow,
God.
what was that I heard? But then
Holy
they let me go, and now that's a little cute little story.
But what was that?
I don't know, John.
John. Oh.
Yeah, man,
Spooky.
it was
That's
so
so
weird. It
spooky.
was really
Maybe it
weird.
was a spiritual entity.
Yeah, that's right. It was just some other high school kid who passed away at one point with a funny sense of humor.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I would do.
Right? How would you spend your afterlife?
That sounds like fun.